Hello, I'm Joe Grueter and welcome back to another Grueter construction video. I'm happy to show you we're working on this 1911 house and we're working our magic on these old homes. We specialize in old homes in Pasadena. So come on along and let me show you how far we've gotten. Now I know in the previous videos we were having some anomalies with the foundation. Wasn't built the way anybody expected it, the engineer nor the architect nor myself. So we've got that wrapped up and now we're making some good headway. So come on down here and look at what we've done. So we're at the back of the home right here where there used to be the stairs were right here that went up into the house. We've got that blocked off and now there's a window. And over here we have some temporary stairs going in where there's going to be a new door here and there's going to be a beautiful big deck that they'll be able to walk right out the back here too. And you can see we've got the windows in and we're going to be in the process of putting the new shingles back on around where we put the windows in. I'm really excited about what we've done on this side, but let's walk over here to my favorite part of the house. This is a side porch, and because it's on the north side of the house, it's always very cool. Just like my workers, they're very cool. So this is Vincent, my son. He's a carpenter and an air conditioning expert. And this is our project manager, Lacey. And they're gonna help me out today because we got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot done since we were last here. So let's step inside here. Go ahead, Lacey. There's a great back porch, I love it. We're now gonna have a door here. And it's great because the kitchen's in here, the bathroom, and it was a great idea of the architect, and the homeowner just said to me the other day, oh my goodness, Joe, I'm really going to enjoy this door. So you walk in off this porch in here, and immediately to your right, there's a bathroom. And before I go into the rest of all the framing goodies, I'd kind of like Vincent to take over here. He's going to show you some of the things we did to overcome the odd situation with the foundation.
Yeah, so when we were originally doing the foundation, we were supposed to be putting pad footings here on top of what is the existing foundation and a newer foundation, what's called a sister foundation, because the old existing foundation is stone and mortar. And you can actually see here through the daylight that the old foundation really isn't doing much anymore. The mortar kind of just turns to sand after a while and just really structurally isn't sound. So in 2019 they had another company come out and they did kind of like a retrofit to the existing foundation, and they added the sister foundation where they poured new concrete along the whole inside of the foundation of the house to make that existing foundation more structurally sound.
So the house now, Vinny, is actually being held on this new foundation, not the outside rubble.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. And so if you look here, we have this big 1.5 inch steel plate, and the reason for these is because when we were opening the floor up, we saw here that the stone foundation was kind of worse than we had originally anticipated, and our engineer told us that, yeah, we're not going to be able to drill into that. So what we did for our shear wall, which is this tie down here, we had to add these plates to the newer sister foundation, and basically what that's going to do is it's going to pull those two foundations together, and it's going to give our shear wall something structurally sound to tie to. And you can see we have 2 bolts on this side, 1 bolt on this side, and the reason for that is in case of an earthquake or a big windstorm, if the house is kind of rocking or trying to slide, this will lock the sister foundation to the existing foundation, and it won't allow them to move independently. It kind of locks them together. And we've got 4 of those on the north side of the house here.
There's 2 more over here.
Yeah, there's 2 more over here, 3 more. There's 1 beneath
one underneath, yeah.
And then 2 more over here. This is kind of a smaller shear wall here, but that's what the plans call for. So we trust our engineer to decide what's appropriate.
Well, Grueter Construction came up with the plates, and Garrett, our engineer, approved it.
Mm-hmm. He made some alterations to the drawings, and he chose the size of plate for us. We let him do the math. Since we're down here talking about the floor, this is our new bathroom. This is where the existing kitchen was, and we're putting a nice big bathroom here. And the whole bottom floor of the bathroom is going to be tile. But they've got a pretty sizable shower here. Right now I'm standing inside the shower, and the shower is not going to have a dam necessarily. It's just going to be lower than the rest of the bathroom floor. So the tile in all of this floor here, where our cameraman is standing, is going to be flat, but underneath it, we're gonna create basically a water impermeable layer, and that's gonna be sloped, and the whole bathroom is gonna be sloped over to this hole in the floor, and that's gonna be the drain for the shower. So all the water, any moisture condensation or any kind of water that makes it underneath the tile is going to go to this hole in the floor here.
Show them that great B&B window.
Yeah, so we've got these new beautiful windows, dual pane, well insulated, just awesome windows. Kind of expensive, but you know, that's our client's taste. And yeah, we got new windows and doors for the most part in the area that we're working on. We had to keep one of the existing windows to meet the historical regulations in our area, because this is in a historical area. And so we actually did have to end up relocating this window. It was originally 6 or 7 inches higher, and we were able to take it out, salvage it, reframe the wall to allow it to be lower, and we also put a new flashing behind it, so it's a bit more waterproof than it was originally. And we've got these big cast iron weights for these panels here, and basically, you know, this is what allows the window to stay in place where it's at. Essentially, it's on a pulley on each side, and when you unlock and lift up the window, it slides up here, and it holds itself there via the weight. So if you were to lift up on the weight, there's nothing holding the window up, and it allows it to slide down. Same thing for the back window. So these windows are pretty significant to the history of this home.
They need a little fine tuning, don't they?
They definitely do, yeah. Maybe a little wax or something. But by the end of the job, they'll be working like brand new, and they'll be painted and sanded, and it's gonna be awesome.
Thanks for that, Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you show them the huge beams that we had to put in?
Yeah, so if you come over here into the living area, originally there was a wall right about here, and it had a big header going across supporting the floor joist for the second story. But we moved that wall and we moved it over to here. So we've got a nice big header there supporting those joists there. But our engineer decided that to create floor joists strong enough to be able to span this distance without sagging or breaking, we had to sister them. And you'll notice that sister is a word that we use a lot in construction. Same thing with the foundation, the floor joist.
Basically doubling.
Yeah, sister just means you're tying two things together, essentially. So that's what we had to do here for all these floor joists that's over this span. And that's how we got it to be strong enough to support the second story.
And over here, if you go in the kitchen, Vincent, you spent some serious time putting in these huge new beams here. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. So we've got quite a few. I think we have 7 new beams in this house, and I believe there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 in the second story's floor, and they're all tying down to the beams downstairs underneath. That's tied into the new foundation and the footings that we put in. And so this is the second biggest beam in the house. I think it's almost 16 feet long, and it's 5 1/4 by 9 1/4, and that expands from that outside wall on the bathroom all the way over to in the kitchen area. And this beam has a huge hanger bracket, and these hanger brackets on each side have maybe 30 or almost, yeah, probably 30, 35 3.5 inch nails, structural nails in it. And so you can see that this one is just tying into this one, and this smaller one, it's the width and the height are the same, but the distance is shorter. It's landing on a big 4x4 here, and that's going down to a beam underneath. And this one is also tied into this one over here. So this one's doing a lot of the load here, and it's got a big 4x6 here going down to a huge 3-foot pad that we put underneath. And then it's going over to that one, and that one has a 4x4 going down underneath to a 2-foot by 2-foot pad.
Vincent, those beams are huge. What are they what's upstairs that they're holding up?
So this beam and this beam here are directly underneath a wall, and we haven't looked at it, but our engineer looked at the original plans, and I assume that he wants us supporting those walls because those might be going up and supporting the roof line. So that's what these are supporting. They're supporting the walls for the second story.
So that's a lot of technical stuff we got done. That's all exciting. So the room you're in here right now is going to be the kitchen. And the kitchen will have 2 doors going into the rest of the house. It'll have this large door over here going into the family area. And there's another door here, so you can come from the kitchen and go directly to the bathroom or out to the patio. This over here will be the family room. And We've got all these beautiful windows, as Vincent had mentioned earlier. They're all wood windows, and they're designed to fit the period of the home. So these look exactly like the windows that were made at that time. That's why we purchased these. So there's going to be a big couch over here where our man Pat is working with that great t-shirt you got on there, Pat.
See that?
Yeah. And so over here is a nice alcove, a nice niche where they're going to have their big screen TV. So this will be a great family area, kitchen right there, bathroom closed. You go out this door over here and you're right in the patio outside. And so let's walk out this door, if we will, Lacey, and we'll talk about what's going on over here.
So this is Nathan. He's one of our crew members here at Grueter Construction, and he's been helping us dig this trench here so we can relocate the electrical panel. Currently it's on the north side of the house, and we have all these ugly wires connecting to the house. So our goal here is to eliminate that and make it more user-friendly by putting a sub panel in the basement. So our electrician is going to be putting a new panel on the garage, and he's going to be running conduit through here. So Nathan's helping us dig a trench for that and getting it ready. Yep, we'll have a power panel in the garage, and then we'll have a sub panel in the basement. So it'll be nice and easily accessible for the clients.
Tell us, Lacey, what are we doing over here with the Tyvek on the house?
Yeah, so because we're working in an existing condition, we put the Tyvek on the inside of the house to protect the insulation from getting any moisture, getting wet. And then out here on our 1x material, we're going to treat this with some copper sulfate so it protects the shingles that we're going to use. So we're using cedar shingles, and they have tannins in it, and without this barrier here of the copper sulfate, it needs to breathe. So yeah, using that, it'll help it breathe, and it will help it from breaking down the cedar shingles.
That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you look down here, we've got these kind of shutters / windows that go down to the basement downstairs. So it's kind of cool little access point to get out of in case of a fire or something. Maybe that's blocked. But let's go down there and look at the big beams that we have down there. We can show you those.
We're doing like an overtime because we missed a month.
So if you look here, here's one of our footings that we poured. And this one was, the code called for, sorry, not the code, our engineer called for this to be a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot pad. And this is supporting up a 4x6, and this is going upstairs to one of the 4x4s, supporting one of those really big beams in the kitchen area. And if you walk over here, we can kind of show you. This pad here, or this footing, is the biggest one in the house that we had to pour. It's 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. It's a pretty huge footing, and the reason for that is because we've got this ginormous PSL beam, and it's sitting over there on that.
You want to point with that? Oh, you got a flashlight.
Yeah.
I can point for you here which one it is. So we're talking about that big beam right there.
That big one right there, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that one there.
Yep. So this one is the biggest one in the house, and that one's on that big pad, that footing that we poured. And we got this huge steel hanger holding onto this one. And that one's going over to another pad. Actually, we didn't pour this pad over here that you can't see. That was part of the sister foundation that they did in 2019. So there's a total of three beams down here. We've got this big one here, this other big one here, and we got this one here that's just a sister beam. It was just there to beef up the existing beam for the house. And yeah, so we've got some pretty huge lumber in here. Yeah, big. And these are engineered lumber, so there's LVL and PSL. LVL is laminate veneer lumber, and PSL is polystrand. Yeah, I think it's polystrand or something like that, lumber, something like that. But the PSL is the stronger one, and they're pretty freaking awesome. They come completely straight. There's no crown. With typical dimensional lumber, you have to crown all your boards because, sorry about that, each board comes, you know, kiln dried, but you know, over the drying process, the moisture leaving the wood in different ways. Boards kind of warp, they can twist, so they do all kinds of crazy things. So when you're setting a beam or you know, with traditional lumber, you really need to crown it because you don't want you know, the belly hanging down. You want to crown it up so that once load is finally on the beam, it'll kind of settle straight. Because if you do it the other way, you're already starting in a disadvantaged position. So,
while we're down here, Vincent, why don't you tell them what we plan to do with those old sewer pipes above your head?
yeah, so we're going to be relocating these. These are for the old bathroom that was above us, where the kitchen is now. Now we're moving the bathroom over to that side, so we're not going to need all this. There is still going to be a kitchen here, so there is going to be some plumbing underneath. But we're going to raise it up because this is where his laundry is, some storage, kind of a workspace, workshop down here. So we're going to get these up as high as we can out of his way, so he's not bumping his head. That way, you know, it's just more space in here. It's more aesthetically pleasing. Hopefully, yeah, he'll be able to open both these windows all the way, theoretically. So, yeah, we got lots of stuff we're doing.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that. It's a lot of information. Some people might find it a little mundane or technical, but we love it. So we're proud to show it off, and we got it all handled. And from here on out, we're going to be putting things back together, as you saw with the windows. It's just going to start looking better and better till we get to the point where we're painting the walls and we get a beautiful new oak floor in. And those are the videos I'm sure you're all looking forward to seeing. So thanks again for taking another look at Grueter Construction Videos.